Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Jen here, and today I'm bringing you a very excited video. It's all things wedding. I'm going to be talking about my wedding and how to have a wedding on a budget, and I'll be going into detail about how to have a beautiful wedding yet not have to spend too much money. And I know in this day and age the wedding industry can be very expensive and make you feel like you need a very expensive big wedding, but I can assure you, you don't need to spend that much money to be able to have a gorgeous day, because it is a special day for you and your partner, and you want to just make sure that you enjoy it, and it doesn't need to be something extravagant. If that's something you want, then well, this will be the wrong video. But yeah, I'd say it's just to show you that you don't have to be out of pocket to just have the most amazing day of your life. So with a bit of backstory, I'm someone that always wanted to have a wedding ever since I was little. I was never the one to plan everything. I know some people really plan every detail, what kind of dress they're gonna have, what kind of flowers they're gonna want, etc. I didn't really think of those things because to me the most important part was the ceremony. I always just wanted that bit where you both say I do or I will, and it's just the most special part. So I just always kept thinking about that moment, and that to me was the most important. So whenever I thought of a wedding, I just thought of that magical time. I know nowadays can be very daunting with everyone thinking that they have to spend 10 grand, 15 grand on a wedding, when you really don't need to spend that much, because it's not about that one day. Because I know there's emphasis on that one day that you want that to be perfect, but it doesn't mean by just throwing money at it it's gonna be like perfect just because of that. So it's just figuring out what's important for you and how to keep that within budget. So first things first, jumping into it, I think the most three important things about the wedding are the venue, food, and the ceremony. So now the venue is probably gonna take most of your budget, because normally people are charging the venue by itself with just the bar, it's around 2 grand excluding food. So then when you put food and everything, you can go up to 9,000. That's just the venue with the food, and I just think that is a little bit too much, that you could probably spend on something else like a house or your honeymoon. And I just think that's a better way to spend it than just pay for something that's probably not going to cost them as much, but yeah, they're charging that much money. I don't want to talk bad about the wedding industry, but I just don't seem to make sense of it all, how it's so expensive when it shouldn't have to be. So with a little bit of explaining how the wedding day went, it started in the church. So I got married in a church, and I was very blessed to get married in a church, because a church community, they were really helpful, and you'll see that a lot of things here, we had help from our church members. So for example, the venue was the church and the restaurant. So we started at the church and then later on moved on to the restaurant. It was an Indian restaurant, and that's where we had our main meal. So obviously we had the ceremony at the church, and then the church has a hall, so we decorated the hall and then had our first dance there, as well as an afternoon tea and cutting the cake and having a toast. So that's where it all started. So that was a way to already cut back and not have to spend so much on a venue. I know there are other options for venues that are not so expensive as just going for, the popular big ones. You can just go to a local church, or there are local community centers, and I just think you just save money there already. As for the restaurant, I told them there was about 40 people coming to the wedding and having a meal there, so they were happy to let us have the place for free. And that was a really wonderful time, and that's where we had the after party. And also places for you to take pictures, we were very lucky that the church had a garden, so we could take pictures there. And you can also just take advantage of your surroundings, because where we live, we've got the beach, and it was just an amazing place to take pictures. And there's a garden nearby, so we took loads of pictures there. I'll be inputting on the screen now pictures, and they look absolutely amazing. And I just don't think you need the venue to supply all that. You can just travel a little bit. It wasn't long at all. It was like 5-10 minutes travel, and you can then get pictures without needing to feel like you need everything in one place. So that's the venue, and so far all free. And moving on to food. Now we're very fortunate that our families helped us with some of the food. So they provided an afternoon tea. So after the ceremony, we went into the hall and we had tables and chairs that were also supplied by the church. They already had those. And we literally just used disposable tablecloths, white ones, and they look really nice. And I'll try and input pictures of it as well. And we decorated the hall, and we had the afternoon tea there as well as the cake. So we went for pictures in the garden, and then we came back and we had our first dance. Then we had the toast and the cutting of the cake all there. So for the toast, because it's a church, we had no secco, which is essentially prosecco with no alcohol in it. And we toasted with that. And then the cake was also supplied by family. David's sister made it, and it was absolutely amazing. Again, I'll try to input as many pictures as I can so you get some visuals. And so we cut the cake. Meanwhile, everyone was having the afternoon tea as well, so that part was also free. And again, I'm not just saying, oh, everything's free, it's easy. It's not like that. But your family will want to help you. If you want to do a celebration for the both of you, I'm sure that everyone that will be part of that day will want to be a part of that day, if that makes sense. They will want to contribute and to help you, and you don't have to feel like you have to do everything by yourself. Everyone, I'm sure, would chip in and will just help you along the way. So we were very grateful to have our families do that for us, and just help with some things. And you know, we were 22 years old at the time, or 23 now, but you know, quite young, and I just don't want people to feel put off by getting married because of how expensive it is, because again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have an amazing day. So now, for the food at the restaurant, because I know an Indian restaurant can be quite expensive, what we did, and this worked really well, when we sent out our invitations, which were online, so I created them myself using Photoshop, and I just put in on the invitation that would be going to a restaurant, and if people could kindly choose what they wanted from the menu and send us the money. So as we sent our invitations, we also sent the menu for the Indian restaurant. Now you're thinking, you're asking people for money, but we also didn't want presents. So instead of presents, people can just help us out by paying for their own meals, as you would if you go to a restaurant for a birthday. So I thought of this as a celebration in terms of when you go out with your friends for your birthday, everyone will pay for their own. So this is a celebration of me and my husband getting married, so I thought we can all go and we can enjoy a meal at a restaurant, and we can all pay for our own, which everyone was happy to do. So as everyone sent me the money, I made a pre-order with the restaurant, so then they were ready when we got there. They were absolutely amazing. I won't say which one it is just for purposes of confidentiality, but the food was amazing, the service was amazing, and they even decorated the place for us. It was just a magical time where we could all eat, drink and party, and the whole restaurant was just for us there. Just the wedding party, the wedding guests, just everyone together just celebrating. So it was just truly amazing. Now for the wedding favours, and I know this can get quite expensive, what we did is we bought these chocolates from Etsy, and then you can customize it by putting your name and the day of the wedding. So we gave that to the guests, and that came to a cost of £17. And then at the restaurant we also had wedding favours, and those ones I made them myself, which what I've done is buy some glass bottles from Amazon, which were around £20, and then I bought a bottle of cherry sours, so well, a few bottles of cherry sours. So I believe it came to a cost of around £40. That was a cheap way to do it. We also bought some card paper as well as printed out our names and the date. So that's a very inexpensive way to do it too. So far, all we've spent is £93, just, considering the venue and the food and, wedding favours, only £93. However, we're now going to the ceremony part, and that was definitely the most expensive part. So the ceremony, I'm going to be talking from experience, obviously, but everyone is different, so you can choose to pay for these things or not. It just depends on how many groomsmen you have, how many bridesmaids and flower girls you have, etc. So I'll just be talking in terms of what I've paid to make the whole ceremony. So starting with your wedding band, it actually wasn't that expensive. It came to, both of our wedding bands came to about a total of 130. So that was really nice, and we love our wedding bands. So there are places that will sell them not expensive at all, like Warren James. So again, we didn't feel like we needed to spend that much money on our wedding bands. Now in the UK, you have to do something, which is give the registry office notice. So this cost us £35 each, so a total of £70. So that will be part of your ceremony. You need to give them notice, and then you will both go there. They'll ask you some questions and tell them the dates that you're going to get married, and then you will have a schedule which you then have to pick up later on, and then you have to give it to your registrar, which luckily this was free as well because our church already has a registrar. And on that note, you also need an officiant, someone that will marry you. And luckily for us as well, we had someone at our church that also does that, and she was absolutely amazing, and we'll just never forget that moment. She just made it so special, and it was just amazing for our ceremony. Now, we have come to probably the most expensive part of the entire wedding, I'd say, but it was something that I found was very important for me because I just really wanted my dress to just be the most amazing thing ever. So when I went into the shop and I was choosing my wedding dress, I had a budget of around £800 in mind, and obviously didn't know how much a wedding dress actually is. You do find some £800 one, but they were nice, but I just feel like I wasn't completely happy with them. And this dress, I simply just burst into tears when I had the dress on and she put a tiara and a veil on me. I just literally couldn't help myself. I started just crying. So I thought, this is it. This is the dress. So the dress with accessories, and I am counting jewellery and shoes, came to about £1,560. Now, this is probably not the most important part for you. So don't feel like you need to spend that much money, because that did just take out half of our budget. So if our budget was £3,000, I took half of the budget, and that's not okay. So, if you can find a dress that will be cheaper and you're happy with, then just go for it. But this to me was just very important, so therefore I went for it. Now, David's suit came to the cost of £230, and his groomsmen's suit came to around £300. He had 4 groomsmen, so again, if you don't have that many people as your wedding party, you don't need to spend that much money. As he had 4, he then had to pay for more. That rhymed. But also he cut back on a lot of money because the way he done it, so David had a jacket and then his groomsmen just had waistcoats, and I think that looks really nice. And I always feel like the groom kind of needs to stand out. So as you'll see on the pictures, all his groomsmen had bow tie ties, but David had a normal tie, so I think that looked really nice and I love the way he's done it, and I just left that part completely to him. I said, you choose everything as long as you don't choose something absolutely hideous, which I think he's done a really good job. As you can see, the theme of my wedding was sort of burgundy as well as cream or peachy pink. So my bridesmaids dresses I will put on the screen as well, a mixture of burgundy and red, which they were bought from Shein, which you can actually find really beautiful dresses there. So I didn't spend a lot of money at all for the bridesmaids. I also had 4 bridesmaids and I spent £100 in total, around £20 per dress. And then for the flower girls, it was a bit excessive, but I had 3 flower girls and their dresses came to about £40, around £20 each, but my friend already had a dress, so luckily it literally went with the colour scheme, so it just looked really nice. For obvious reasons, I won't be putting the pictures of the flower girls because, well, they're only little and their parents will probably not be very happy with that, so I will just put the bridesmaids for you to see. Now for the part that can be quite expensive, it is the photography side, but I didn't want to skimp out on that because I feel like the pictures is what you will take forever. Obviously you have your memories, but I think it's important to mark that moment with really nice pictures. So our wedding started at 4 o'clock, that was the ceremony, and it went on until 11 midnight. So what we have done is we asked the photographer to come take pictures for 4 hours. So the photographer was there at 4 o'clock and she took pictures throughout the whole ceremony, you know, the confetti tunnel, the pictures with all the family and friends, and then she travelled to all the places with us that we wanted, to the garden, to the beach, and we took lovely pictures there. So the photographer came to a total of £450 for the 4 hours, but the pictures looked absolutely amazing. She covered so much ground. She did such an amazing job, and you will see with the pictures. She stayed for all that time as well as when we had our first dance, so hence why we had an early first dance to get everything within the 4 hours. So then after we moved on to the restaurant, so the time was already up, so she didn't come with us, but that was okay because we were just going to have a meal as family and friends, so we didn't really need someone to just be taking pictures of that. And now for the videographer, we were very lucky again because someone in our church offered to video our wedding, and he's absolutely amazing. He also drove us everywhere in his really nice car. You'll see a picture of it, but it's just the most gorgeous car. And he came with us to the beach as well, and he helped us with the pictures. And we were traveling to all these places to take pictures, and he also took us from the church to the restaurant, so it was just an amazing experience. He drove me from our flat because me and the girls got ready in the flat before the ceremony, and then he picked all us up and he took us to the church. So then the photographer was there ready to take some amazing pictures of me, the girls, and the car. So the videographer, he's, you know, our friend, so he came to the restaurant and he filmed all the speeches as well. That was really amazing of him to do as well. We've now got the memories of the pictures, the video of our ceremony, and the video of the speeches as well. So I couldn't be more grateful. So the ceremony is definitely the most expensive part when you combine everything that sort of went on to it. This is excluding decoration. I will go into that in a second. So just the ceremony, what I said, came to the total of £2,890. Now that is a lot, isn't it? So now I'm gonna go into the decoration part. After we've gone into that very expensive part, we're just gonna move on swiftly. So the decoration part, I don't think you necessarily need it. You don't really need to decorate the place if you don't want to, because I think you can just have the most amazing day without that side of things. But if you want the pictures to look a bit better, like a little bit nicer, then you should invest in decorating. And I didn't do a lot, to be honest. I just did the bare minimum just to have something in the background, just to add a little bit more to the pictures. So I will go on into what I've done. So I bought these paper lanterns. So I bought these lanterns from Amazon, so they came to about £40, and they just made the room look amazing. Like they were just these big round lanterns in the colour scheme that I wanted. And with that I also bought some fairy lights, so we could decorate the hall with the fairy lights. So we've just done all that and it just looked really lovely. The fairy lights were around £20 as well. So the flowers, we were really lucky, so all the flowers, the bouquet, David's mum actually helped us as well. So again, family helping us, and it was amazing as well. The flowers, everything. She's done such an amazing job with our bouquet, and we were very lucky and very grateful that she paid for it all. And then we got these lanterns for the aisle, which I also got from Amazon. So there were these lanterns that you can put a candle in it. We put like one of them dimmable candles, battery ones. So the candles and the lanterns came to about £42. And then I found these baskets for the flower girls, around £16 for all three of them. And then I paid £8 on the day, not on the day, but the day before when I was decorating, which again, I decorated with my friends, and that saved us a lot of money as well. So on the day before, I went to the supermarket and I got some flowers, and then David's sister helped us buy on the day, just ripping them, putting it in the basket so that the flower girls could just spread them around. We had these pictures of us that, you know, selfies that you just take on your phone. So we printed some of them out and we had them on like a poster in the hall as well, so people could go and look at it. And we had a table where we had a letter box, so people can put all their cards. And this letter box I got from Facebook Marketplace, which was about £5. And the pictures, I printed them in Asda, and if I remember correctly, they costed around £10. Now for some random DIY. For the table, I had these Dolmio jars, so I bought some ribbon, like the Hessian style ribbon to go around the jars, and then some string. So I decorated the jar and then I put a candle in it. So again, really expensive, it costed around £5 to just buy the Hessian ribbon, stick it on there, and that was just a nice little thing to just add to the table. And then I sprayed some Peroni bottles in like a red spray, so literally sprayed them all, and then on the day we put some flowers in them and we had it at the entrance. Another thing we had at the entrance was an order of the day poster, which I ordered from Etsy, and I input exactly everything that was happening throughout the day, and they did such an amazing job. It looked amazing, the board that we got. So that was at the entrance as well, and it was just nice for people to come in and have a look at that and see what's happening. I think that's quite important. It did cost £55, but I just think it just gives your day a lot more structure if all your guests know what you're doing, so they can look at that and think, oh, where are they now? Where did they go? Then they can look at the board and be like, oh, they're taking pictures. So they don't think you just left, you know? So that was really nice, I think. Now, to me, it was important to create these bridesmaids bags, like gift bags, just to say thank you for being with me on the day. And I just think that's a really nice touch. So I spent around £15 on each bridesmaid, and the little bag came with a dressing gown, which was this champagne dressing gown. Then they had a bracelet, so we all had the same bracelet, and I actually got it from Shein. All these things I got from Shein, apart from one thing, which was a candle, like a Yankee candle, like the miniature versions. So I got one for each bag, and then I got a keyring with their initials on it, the bracelet that we all wear together, and the dressing gown. So I thought that was just something simple, just to say, hey, thank you for just being part of this amazing day with me, and just a little something that they could potentially keep and just have that as a reminder of your wedding day. So my camera decided to stop recording, so a lot of it has been cut out. So I'm gonna try and pick up from where I left off. So for the flower girls, I got them these bracelets. They were these pearl bracelets and they cost me around £27. Again, something that they could wear on the day or keep them as well as a little memory of when they were a flower girl, and they were absolutely adorable, guys. And then I almost forgot the final thing, which was the confetti. So I got the confetti from Etsy as well as Facebook Marketplace. The one from Etsy, I believe I paid £12, and the one for Facebook Marketplace I paid £3. So a total of £15 for confetti. It is quite expensive for confetti, but I tell you, those shots of the confetti will be absolutely amazing. You'll see, I will put the pictures on the screen. And then guys, you get one shot with the confetti. So on the day, we had a friend of ours and she was absolutely amazing with keeping the order of the day and as well as helping to arrange people for the confetti tunnel. So what we did, we stood at the entrance, and as everyone was leaving, she instructed everyone to form the confetti tunnel. Then one of the groomsmen went round with the confetti basket, which the basket was something I already had, so the confetti wasn't it, and he went round, everyone could grab a handful, and then we had group A and group B, which was to throw the confetti, because you literally have one shot, and if the photographer does not get that shot, then that's it, the confetti's on the floor, no one's gonna be able to pick that up. So she arranged it really nicely. So we had group A throw the confetti as we're going through, and then group B throw it as well. So you'll see by the pictures, it was just incredible. So the decorations part came to a total of £312. Now, that is quite a lot for decoration, if I say so myself. You know, it's the worst because the little things just add up. You think, oh, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that, and they're really cheap at the time, but those little things really do add up. So it just depends on what you want, really. And going for the DIY option as well, I think that's a great idea because you will cut back on a lot of money that way. And now for the grand reveal of the total of the entire wedding. Drum roll please. £3,295. Yes. Now to some people that still might be a lot of money, which it is, but for a wedding, I think that's an absolute bargain, don't you? Like when you think of a £15,000 wedding or a £10,000 wedding, you know, some people are still paying for that until this day. So for a just over £3,000 wedding, I think that's amazing because we both really enjoyed that day. We had such an amazing day and people really enjoyed it too. Our guests still say till this day, and it's been 6 months, that they had such an amazing time and how it was such a beautiful wedding, because it's more than what money can pay. Like, it's the memory, it's the feeling of, you know, people are there to see you get married, and you don't pay for that magical moment of, you know, sharing your love to all your family and friends. So I just think you just need to decide between the both of you. And I know some fiancés are like, oh, I don't mind what we do, like, it's up to you. But I think it's important for you both to sit down and decide on a budget, because even though I spelled out a little bit of the 3,000 because that was our budget, it was only a little bit over really, because we're nowhere near the 4,000. So, you know, if you just decide on a budget and try to stick to it, even if you go over it a little bit, it's not the end of the world. So I just think make sure you have a budget, try to stick to it, but, you know, decide what's important for you and for you only. Well, I wish you the best of luck for your wedding day, and I hope that you can take some tips and ideas from this video, and that could help you to save a little bit on your wedding day. And if you did, please give this video a like and subscribe. This really helps the channel, and I will be posting a video every week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.